I used to hate God. I wanted nothing to do with him. I didn't feel like he was in my life. I felt like he was on everybody else's life and he was blessing everybody else. But in mine, it was like destruction all the time. I grew up in a Christian household. My dad worked a lot out of town. My mom had a friend. This friend used to bring us gifts, and we thought he was an uncle because that's how he was introduced. One night, Dad came home and asked where we got these gifts from. I ended up telling my dad that my mom had a friend. So my mom ended up committing adultery. And because I learned in church to always be faithful and always be true, I feel like I was the reason my parents got divorced, because God told me to be honest, and I was. I was 6 years old, and from 6 years old until I was 22, anyone who said anything about God, or let's say grace at Thanksgiving, I avoided it because I didn't want to talk about him. I started to turn to alcohol to numb the pain that I was feeling. I turned to sexual sin and relationships just for acceptance because I was trying to fill that void. I felt alone all the time. I felt like no one understood me. No one knew what I was going through. No one was able to relate to exactly what hurt I was feeling. At night, I cried myself to sleep a lot of times. The first day at Grace Point, Pastor Jeff talked about removing your mask. The mask I was wearing was hatred towards God. I knew deep down inside that he existed, but I didn't want to believe in him and I didn't want to feel him. After that service, I went up to Pastor Jeff and said, I have a mask that needs to be removed. Will you pray for me? He prayed for me, and at that very moment, I felt an overwhelming presence of God, and this light just felt like he was shining on me. And he hugged me and told me that he loved me and he forgives me for all the bad decisions that I made throughout my life. And it was just overwhelming. Now I feel like God desires to have a relationship with me. Like he truly wants to know me. I feel like every day he goes with me everywhere I go, to work, to school, home. Any conversations I have with people, he's always there. You know, he's always there to guide me. To go from being alone and depressed to having a relationship with someone who loves you unconditionally, someone who's willing to always forgive you. It truly is the most amazing thing